Hi, this is Rick from For Community, creating community spaces so you can connect with others and also with God. My first legal job was when I was just in between grade 8 and grade 9. There's a mall that was that had just been finished that was built between where I lived and what would be my new high school. And I went to that mall when half of it was open, the grocery store part was open, and the other half, where all the stores were going to be, was still closed because it was under construction. So I ventured through the grocery store into, a sliding door that somebody left open, into the not yet open and still under construction place of the mall, and I walked in there because I saw some guy working on what would eventually be his store. And I walked into his store, and it totally caught him by surprise. It got his attention. He turned and looked at me and says, "Hi, can I help you?" I said, "Well, I'm about to start grade 9, and I'm interested in working someplace. When your store opens, what will it be? And are you looking to hire anybody?" And that's it. That's how I got my first legal job in between grade 8 heading into grade 9. I was in the right place at the right time. I got myself into the right place at the right time. Okay, that was my story. What about you? Do you have a story about getting yourself into the right place and at the right time, and then something good happened for you? I'd love to hear your story. If you've got a story, please pause the video and share your story with whoever it is you're watching with. This video is based on my interpretation of Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verses 1 through 6. In the text, we're talking about increasing our potential of finding ourselves in those moments where we're in the right place at the right time. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verses 1 through 6. "Send your grain across the seas, and in time profits will flow back to you. But divide your investment among many places, for you do not know what risks might lie ahead. Farmers who wait for perfect weather never plant. If they watch every cloud, they never harvest. Just as you can't understand the path of the wind or the mystery of a tiny baby growing in its mother's womb, so you can't understand the activity of God who does all things. Plant your seed in the morning and keep busy all afternoon, for you don't know if profit will come from one activity or another, or maybe both." Here's where I'm going with this video. I'm going to talk about 3 thoughts that limit your personal growth and thus limit your income. Being in the right place at the right time is so powerful. However, sometimes we find that we're never in the right place and we're never there at the right time. We never really get a break. There are things that we do to make those right time and right place moments for us less frequent or more frequent. So I'm still having a great time in this book of Ecclesiastes. I'm loving it. However, I have no idea yet how to do a series through it in any way that I think you would find interesting. But there are several things that are catching my eye that I think are worth sharing at face value. So that's the approach I'm taking with Ecclesiastes. I'm catching these things that I find are pretty helpful, pretty useful, jumping out to me, and I'm sharing them with you. And today, here's one nugget of wisdom that's jumping out to me. It has to do with the way we limit or increase the potential of our personal growth and level of income, and we limit or increase the potential of finding ourselves in the right place at the right time. 3 thoughts that truly limit your personal growth and thus income potential. Right place, right time moments. Here they are. Life should be simple. Life should preference me. Life should be easy. Those are the 3 limiting thoughts that I see kind of jumping out of these proverbs behind the text. Life should be simple. Life should preference me. And life should be easy. If those are our beliefs, if those are what inform our behavior, our performance, how we do life, then those are going to diminish the potential we have of showing up at the right time in the right place. To say it otherwise, life should be simple, life should preference me, life should be easy. To say it otherwise, we might say, if life is too complicated, there must be a problem. Therefore, I'll limit more or all of my options and only follow the simplest or the most guaranteed path. Okay, or another way, I need to wait for the perfect moment to start something. And if I never see that perfect moment, I guess that's God's timing at work. To start something, I need to wait for God's timing, and I'll know it's God's timing if everything is perfectly lined up. Okay, that's a second limiting belief. Thirdly, failing is bad. That's the third limiting belief. Failing is bad. I mean, it's really bad, so I should avoid it at all costs. And I should never start something if I know that I'm going to fail at it. Okay, those are three other ways of stating those limiting beliefs. These are limiting thoughts. Letting those thoughts, those beliefs inform our behavior will totally not create those right time, right place moments that all of us could really use. If we think the best life is the simple life with preferential treatment, without failure, that's going to limit our growth right across life, which is going to include our finances. I mean, this text is mostly talking about our source of income, talking about where growth is coming from. I mean, it's not limited to that, but that's the focus of the text. If those are our biases, it's going to stunt what we become as a person. Here's limiting thoughts one more time. Life should be simple. Life should preference me. Life should be easy. I don't want to spend time on those. I want to spend time on the truth that corrects those thoughts. Okay, so one at a time. Here's the truth. Life isn't simple. I mean, just go to your local Walmart, into the pharmacy section where they keep their toothpaste and shampoos. There's like 100 different kinds of toothpaste. There's a full aisle dedicated just to shampoo. I mean, at my Walmart, just across from that aisle is the pillow aisle. There's an entire aisle just dedicated to the diversity of pillows. Life is not simple. Life is diverse. Life is complex. People are all different. Skill sets are all different. Needs are different. We're different from moment to moment as individuals. We don't show up the same way every time in every conversation with every person. And this can be a problem because when life gets complicated, we can take it personally. It's a hit to the ego. We can interpret it like we're doing something wrong if life is too complicated. A complicated life is not all by itself an indication that you're doing something wrong. Life is just complicated. That's it. It's not simple. In this text, it really addresses the idea of income. We have no idea where income is going to come from, so don't be simple about it, the text is saying. If you're sending out ships, send out a lot of ships, because we never know where the increase is going to come from. It's complex. Learn to be okay with complexity. That's the principle. Learn to be okay with complexity. Learn to expect and embrace complexity is what the text tells us. It's sharing with us the principle. If we choose to reject the notion that life is simple, and if we choose to embrace and pursue life as something that's complex and diverse, then our personal growth, and in this case, as the text is addressing, the growth of our income, has much greater potential. Okay, that's number one. Life isn't simple. Life is actually complex. And if your life is feeling complicated, it may not be because there's something wrong with you or you're doing something wrong. It's just because, life is complicated. So here's one more truth to just interact with another belief that limits us. Life doesn't give us any special preference. Ever. The world doesn't stop turning for any of us. The perfect moment never comes. That's a lie. The stars never come into alignment for us. I don't know any other way that I can say this. There's no perfect moment waiting for us. We create those perfect moments. We create our moments. Now, I'm not denying that God has the ability to show up and do a miracle. I'm not denying that. God can do whatever God wants to do, which is actually a problem for us that we need to accept. We have no idea when and if a miracle is coming our way. So there's no perfect moment out there waiting for us. We need to create moments. We don't wait for those moments. We create those moments. So I've often heard over the years, remember I've been a pastor for 3 decades, I've often heard over the years someone telling me that they're waiting to talk to their friend or neighbor about Jesus because they're waiting for that perfect moment. They're just waiting for the right time. Well, there will never be the right time in the perfect moment. So I guess you're never going to say anything. So drop the facade and just say you're not going to do anything about it. Okay? I've often heard that someone has chosen not to look for a new job or attempt to ask someone on a date or go work out or go take a lesson about something or go back to school because they're waiting for a good time to do it. They're waiting for that better moment, that perfect moment. Well, there's never going to be a good time to do most things. The perfect moment does not exist. You got to create that moment. Specifically in this text, it's talking about farmers waiting to plant and waiting to harvest. And the text tells us there will be no food if we lived our life waiting for the perfect moment. There will be no harvest. There will be no planting if we're waiting for it. So here's the principle the text is sharing with us to combat that idea that we need that perfect moment. We make our moments. We don't wait for our moments. We do what we can to set up the conditions for a good moment in our future by doing things right now to make stuff happen. Okay, here's the last thing I'm going to challenge here that I see jumping into the text here. Failure is essential. This is true. Failure is essential. Namely, the text tells us that we need to start working early, keep working all day long, and then see what profit turns up. Which means that lots of the stuff that we start won't work. Lots of the work that we do won't yield a return. However, if we don't risk starting something that's going to fail and working through something that's going to fail, we're never going to get to the place where we're waiting to see what good can become out of what we have done. Failure is not a dead end. It's par for the course. Failure is a pathway to success. If we aren't willing to embrace failure as a part of life, this is truly going to limit the potential we have to grow. If we don't embrace the beauty of failure, we're going to end up failing in a non-beautiful way through stagnation. It will be a waste of a life. Just for a simple example, I really like sometimes watching my kids attempt to build a tower out of a deck of cards. I like watching them try to build a house of cards. There's a very slim chance of success, but it is always awesome watching that tower fall down in glorious failure. Far more awesome than it is to watch that deck of cards as it stays in its package, never having ever been taken out. That's not fun to watch. There's purpose and there's learning in failure. There's connection in failure. There's personal growth in failure. We don't find any benefit in stagnation due to, the fear of failure. There's meaning and purpose and growth found in taking a risk and making an attempt and just going for it. Failures based on honorable attempts. That's where growth and beauty and creativity are found. Failure is an awesome part of life. I mean, it also sucks. Let's not forget it also sucks. We know that failure sucks. But it unlocks other pathways to personal growth and new potential. So here's a good thought to hold on to. If you haven't failed at anything recently, ask yourself if it's because you're simply not trying hard enough. Failure is an essential part of success. How we treat failure either limits or excels personal growth and our journey toward or away from success. Here's a closing thought. All around the idea of trying to create or find those moments where it's the right time and the right place for us. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 11. The fastest runner doesn't always win the race, and the strongest warrior doesn't always win the battle. The wise sometimes go hungry. The skillful are not necessarily wealthy, and those who are educated don't always lead successful lives. It is all decided by chance, being in the right place at the right time. Life isn't simple. life doesn't preference anyone, and life isn't an easy win. Life is pretty random. When we work on ridding ourselves of these 3 limiting beliefs, we not only open ourselves up to personal growth, but something else starts to happen for us. We begin to find ourselves in the right places at the right time. When we accept the complexity of life, when we create moments for ourselves instead of waiting for them to come to us, and when we accept failure as something positive, we start showing up where personal growth and income are found. And suddenly we experience more and more of those right places and those right times. Okay, that's it from me to you for now. Would you please like? Would you please share? Would you please subscribe? Would you please ask for the link? I'd love to talk about it this Sunday. That'd be great. Oh, I have an announcement, by the way. I will be away for the next 2 weeks. So there's this Sunday talk coming up. And then for the next 2 Sundays, I'm going to be away with my family. We're going camping, planning on having fun. And then the third Sunday, which is the week of August 28th, I'll be back. And we'll continue our journey. So for community, we'll take just a little bit of a break for 2 weeks after this Sunday. Okay, for community, creating community spaces so you can connect with others and also with God. I'll see you next time.